The first one we're going to do is anterior tibialis muscle weakness to decrease foot drop during swing phase of gait. That means that, and you'll run into these are really common. Stroke. We had one doctor that was always, anytime he'd do a back, he found a Terre Haute, he'd nick the sciatic nerve, and they would come in with foot drop. That means it just dropped. So they're trying to walk, and they're doing this. But that anterior tibialis will not dorsiflex, okay? And that's what this is going to do. You're going to try to teach them how to do dorsiflex with this muscle. Now remember what causes that muscle to contract? Electric signal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Biofeedback picks that up. We're injecting it now. We're going to fire into that muscle to cause those muscles to fire, basically. This is where you can also put a switch on the bottom of the heel, I think I told you, where if the switch is off, they pick it up, it fires, it dorsiflex. When you heel strike, it shuts the NIMS unit off, boom. They do that, heels up, switch comes on, boom, fires, they dorsiflex. Ben actually, I went up with Ben when I was a student, he put one of these on. The only time I've really ever seen one used, and I saw Ben put it on. So it's kind of neat. Anyway. Okay. You got a bruise there.
I know. I don't know what happened.
I'm gonna go on this side then.
Good job inspecting the skin. Yeah.
There you go. That's right. Thank you. I'll give you electrodes, and it says muscle re-education. Let's see if it. Okay, down it says electrodes large as possible, and that's normal. Negative black over anterior tibialis, the red over the everters, which are going to be the peroneus. It's going to come down here. Anterior tib comes down here. What's the anterior tib do? Dorsiflex?
Mm-hmm.
What else does it do?
Does it invert?
It inverts. So if I just get the anterior tib, it's going to do this number. Or if I get too much anterior tib, it's going to do this number. We don't want that. We want that foot coming straight up. So we try to balance it out by going over and firing the everters. And that's kind of the dicey thing with this one. You got to get them both firing equal so it pulls straight up. Okay? And I will usually make you do it about 3 times if you don't get it. But if you don't get it right and you're doing it right, I will not fail you. I'll move on. Okay?
Thanks.
Because, I mean, and it's kind of dicey. I mean, sometimes I can get them right off. I can usually get them, but sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 times. Everybody's a little different, you know. These, I'll give these pads. These are good pads. They'll stay sticky. If they don't, get a little bit of water on your finger and just wipe it over and let them dry, and they'll stick them right back up. In the clinic, we use the same pads for the same people. We'll put their name on it, put it in a cabinet. I mean, that's every clinic I've ever been in. So if you come in, I go get Sam's Estim pads to do. Anyway, so go ahead and dorsiflex your tri-2 a little bit. Right there, you can see her anterior tib. I'm gonna put it right over that. We'll just see what we do. I know our everters are over here. I've seen them. I think the book more or less says right in here, which is really too close to these pads. You want them farther away. But we're stuck. We have to get close. I mean, anatomically, we're there. I have seen it work anywhere up and down here. I've seen this moved all over. Okay? I'm just going to put it up here and we'll see what we get.
Would you have them evert too to kind of see?
If they can, but a lot of times they can't.
Okay.
So I'm going to let's put it down a little bit. I mean, the head of the fibula up here, and that's where it hooks onto. And we'll talk about that a little more. All I need is one channel. So it says the black goes over what?
The black goes over the anterior tib.
So the black goes over here. Why is that? You know?
I was getting ready to ask you.
I want you to look it up. It says because I think it does.
Is that the main motion?
Let's see. I want you to try to figure that out.
Is it because you want us to find out, Owen, or because you can't remember?
Oh, I know. Let me write it down, then I'll show you. I bet you $100 I can go write it down.
Oh, I don't have $100, Owen.
I know what. I thought maybe it said more on here about it, kind of hinted a little bit. But it really doesn't. Kind of look at it and see what you can think. Why we would. I want you guys to read a little more on this stuff. You get in there, I want you to think what's names do. I want you to read in the book. I didn't tell you to read it because you got this weekend and you really had no idea what we're going to be doing. Anyway, old unit. I will go on. So you might as well just start memorizing all this stuff. You're going to have to memorize it. All the machines are a little bit different. And guess what? That's the real world. So I'll try to show this. Mark showed it. And he showed it better than you're probably going to get it here. So I turn this one on. This is the old unit. I will tell you what, you'll know what you're doing and what unit to use, okay? You turn it on, it says NEMS, and it says ready, okay? And I have to walk my way through this. I think I go to setup, yep, okay? Now it's got NEMS and it's got high volt. We want NEMS. Now I go over the arrow right here where it says next. If you go setup, it'll go right back for you. There's NEMS. It's got PPR and custom. You go to you go to custom. Now it's got time on. What's my time on? 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And 30 off. So, thing just fired right up on me. Never seen it do that. So I got 10 seconds. I thought that was supposed to be. You got to kind of push it in a little hard sometimes. There's 10 seconds. Okay? On time. Push it again, there's my off time. This says 2 seconds, but we need 30 seconds. So I go up to 30. It's that up arrow right here. Okay? Now I'm going to arrow over to go to the next rate. What's my rate supposed to be? 25 to 35 pulse per second rate, frequency, hertz, all the same. It's 30. It's good. If not, I would arrow up or down. Go to the next one. Symmetrical, asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical.
Okay. We're on asymmetrical. Go to next.
If it wasn't on asymmetrical, do you just go up and down
Yep.
again?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Alternate or synchronous. Synchronous. It's on synchronous. If I wouldn't, I'd just arrow up to alternate. Synchronous means it's firing at the same time if I've got two different channels. Okay. Or this is going to be firing at the same time. If not, it'd be on and off, be alternating. Go to the next. Ramp time. What's my ramp time?
2.
2 seconds. It's on 2. Again, I just arrow up and down if it's not. And next is pulse width. Is pulse width on there?
Pulse duration.
That's pulse duration. It's the same thing. Again, you got to know these terms that are interchangeable.
200 to 400.
And this is 300. Again, that's fine. I would set it up and down, move it to what I need it. Timer's 20 minutes. So we'll just, what's the time?
I don't think it says.
It's going to be like 20 to 30 minutes. That's fine. I think it says on our comp. Don't worry about looking at the comp right now, truthfully. Just leave the 20. Focus on this.
Okay.
Comp will take care of itself. Okay, it goes to lock. Just leave it. Go across. No, do not lock this thing. Somebody did that like when you're like never got it unlocked. Okay, I entered it again, or next again, and I'm ready. All I've got to do is start turning this bad boy up. Okay, when I turn it up, I want you to relax. We want to see the foot. Relax, relax, relax. Relax, let your foot go plantar flex. There you go. we should see this foot come up some, okay? But it'll take a little bit. When I start to turn this on, I can tell there's voltage going to it with this light. See that light's on? Because it's going to cycle on and off. Now I'm going to go up nice and slow, one at a time. I do not want to turn this up if that light is off. Because if it's cycling on and off and I'm on the off cycle, it's going to come back on and it's going to shoot sky high. Now you tell me when you feel it.
I can feel it.
Okay, relax.
I am.
I'm just sorry, that's patient. All right, just relax. Here we go. I'm up to about 10. We got a little ways probably to go. A lot of times it's 20s or something.
What's 20s?
Oh.
Voltage.
So this is the rate, right?
The rate selection?
This is the intensity.
Oh.
I went back and we're right at intensity. See, look at it. Now I think it's. It will not hurt you. It's just kind of, but
Exhausting,
it will not.
I bet.
There we go. There we go. And that's not doing too bad. It's a little bit inverted. I got a little bit too much tib. Okay. And I think on this one it went off. Now it's cycling. And it's
But
not,
the red light, the light's on
It
though.
flickered.
Crazy.
It's on, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought it was 30 seconds off.
No, now it's off.
Okay. So, how do you know what to set your intensity to?
I want that foot to come up.
Oh, so it's
It says
it's
to obtain a fair plus contraction.
oh, okay.
Read it. I trying to be nice and said read it.
That wasn't nice.
No,
She's not nice to me.
you're not nice to us.
No, you're not.
Told me, didn't you?
I feel like
Yeah, there it
unsafe
goes
to
again,
ask
see it?
questions in this
I'm
class.
just teasing you. I can't have some
All this
fun,
is
Mike.
like-
See it come? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. A lot of times you'll come clear in.
I don't want to practice this.
It's crazy.
So hey, now listen, if it come, now it's off again, see the lights off. If it came clear in, what's going on? What would I fix?
First one is-
Yeah, you want it to evert more?
Yeah, so I gotta reduce the anterior tib or increase this. You can do both at a time and you're kind of guessing at it. Or I can do one at a time. See what I'm saying? But I'd have to get more everters and less anterior tib. And same thing, if I'd evert, then I don't have enough
So you
anterior
do
tib.
you move them?
Yes, you just, and again, now it's back on. You have to make sure this thing is off when you move them.
Okay. So you have like a little 30-second window.
There's
to
a
move
pause. There's a pause button right here.
Intense.
Listen to me, please. There's a pause button right here.
them.
Hit
Okay.
it to pause it.
Okay.
And I think it won't come back on. We'll try to make sure. Because if it's on off cycle, think about it. This causes what causes problems with all these machines. If it's on its off cycle, oh, I gotta get that going more, and I'm cranking it up. I crank this baby up another 15 or 20 volts, and then it pops back on. Instead of going to 22, it's gonna go to 42, and she's gonna come off that bench. I mean, truthfully. Okay, now it's back on. See, now that's not bad.
Would that be,
See, I put
Okay.
pause and it dropped it. Then I could raise it. But again, you wanna be careful with this.
yeah.
Okay?
Would that, where you have it now, like, would that be okay?
That
or
would
do
be
you
fine.
want it to be
That
more?
would be fine. That looked good. I didn't get it on the other lab. I missed it a couple of times. It was pulling up more, but I kept getting too much anterior tib. And it's a bigger muscle than your peroneus, so I tend to get too much inversion more than eversion on these.
So if it's too much, Tim, just move the electrode?
You
or
just move 'em.
like- Okay.
Again, pause it. You got to pause it. That's what I really want to get through to you, because you will shock. It won't physically hurt you, but it'll light you up. You'll come off of there.
And pressing pause again will.
Yes, I did. I just
Exact.
shut it off, but it should. But
Okay.
watch the light too. The light will give you think you've pressed it. You can think you pressed it and didn't. You know, so watch the light. The light should be off.
Okay.
And be careful if that's all I'm saying. And then if she's already close to it, be easy with it. You can run it up when you're first going, but this thing may after a while want to shut off and start cycling on you. I've seen it do that when you're going up, and that's what causes the problem. You're watching this and you're all focused on this, and you look down and you'll look down and this thing has started cycling for some reason, and you're cranking it up and she doesn't. So be careful with that. We did have a little interesting thing, I think it was Colton, they was having trouble down there with it, and I went down there and we couldn't, it wouldn't go up. This wasn't all the way in, so I just moved it, and guess what?
Phew.
It came on. It popped on. But anyway, any questions with it?
Mm-mm.
It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So if I wouldn't get it, I would pause it, go ahead and move these around, and then go ahead and try it again. I'll tell you what you really need to do, if you can't get this, I want you to crank the intensity all the way down. Don't use that pause button. Let's go that route. Crank it all the way down, and then if you want to even shut it off, but crank it all the way down, maybe hit pause and then take them off. Let's make sure we don't shock anybody.
If you shut it down, does it reset?
I don't think it will. I'll just turn it back on. Let's see what we got. 10 and 30, that way we had. I don't think I changed anything. It looks like it's staying the same.
Okay.
You might want to go back through and check it. Anyway, that's the first one. That's foot drop.